Hello, good morning, everyone. Today we're going to illuminate the path regarding poverty. Hi, Sharona.
Good morning, Tamar. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Take a few minutes to get to that illuminated path so that the soul can rest, recharge, and not just sit in the overbusy mind. Step out, step up into a different part of yourself. You can just create the image as if the mind is a stuffy room and you're just stepping out through a back door into spacious, clear, clean countryside. And there's nothing to do but just be. Be the original nature, which is mirrored by the quiet, the gentle quiet all around in the nature of the countryside. And we like it. We resonate with it because this is what we are really made of. Beautiful feeling, beautiful energy of peace. Today's thought: you are changing from poor to wealthy. We are changing from poor to wealthy. So I don't know how you hear that.
First of all, that's good news.
News, you're right.
It's interesting because just yesterday I read this analysis of one of those future experts, and he was talking that by the year 2027, AI is going to take all, emphasis on all, occupations. And that will take us, first of all, to some kind of poverty for about 10 years. Now, he was not actually talking only about wealth poverty, but he was talking about, our self-esteem when we work. There's a lot of things and identities we built for ourselves during the years. And if AI takes everything, which actually could be a dream for some people because, let somebody else do all my job. But he was talking about a very, I don't remember how he called that period of time, about 10 years of needing to really finding ourselves or finding a new meaning or finding a ways to look at the way of the wealth of the poverty money-wise. And it's very interesting that point came in today.
Yeah, because it is the kind of poverty to know your value just based on what you've acquired, either in degrees or positions in your career or possessions. This is a real poverty, actually. You know why?
I can imagine a few reasons. I can imagine.
Because it makes us takers. We
Hmm.
come to our career, we come to our degrees, we come to other people needy. We're empty of a self-confidence, a self-esteem, a self-valuing, which is innate as children of the divine. Innately, we're so valuable, but we have gotten very distanced from that relationship with my own self. And that's the kind of poverty I think this fellow was talking about. It means take away my job, take away my maybe possessions, dent my car, and I will be devastated, almost as if someone's dented me. So this is upside down. And this business of being a taker, being needy, being a beggar in front of life, when actually it's supposed to be completely the other way around.
You know what's interesting what he said at the end? And I wonder how it relates. How do you see that? He said that the third period after it will be uh, let's say a poverty period. uh, People will be measured. So he still kept the measuring part by their contribution to society. So it wouldn't be how much your hour is worth as much as how much did you contribute to society. So, and I think, a lot of people I talk to, we're talking about positions and possessions, and it's not only ego wise, it is, but it's tricky. Maybe that's the point I want to acknowledge. Because I was talking to a somebody who works with philanthropy yesterday. She's a head chief of a very big organization in Israel. And she was very sad. She works very hard, okay, day and night. She works very hard. And she was very satisfied with her job, recognizing the meaning. She gets a lot of meaning from the job because she really does help and makes changes and helps a lot of people every day. She really does that. And I was listening to her and I was thinking, I admire this woman. She's amazing. She's great. And I was wondering, and I think she's really doing a very wonderful job. And I was wondering, do you describe her as a taker? Would you describe?
I think it always comes down to a balance, because if I if I take the time to understand that there is a way of moving through my life, my responsibilities, my relationships, completed inside, full inside, because of my relationship with my own divinity and the one above, then what is life? Life is then sharing in a very natural way that fullness. This is a kind of energy, it's a kind of frequency, it's a huge contribution. While I have a position or a specific location, some track in which I can do more, that's great. But I think where we defeat ourselves and end up poor, actually, is when we cross a line and instead of just enjoying my job and doing my job really well, which in fact would be a job which is helping so many people, instead of just enjoying it, I begin to depend on it for my well-being. This is where the tragedy starts, or the poverty starts. The loss of wealth begins because it makes me needy. I thought you were going to ask, what if she loses that job? If she loses that job, still has her joy and finds other ways to help her neighbors, help here, help there, always busy helping. You know, that's something else. So let me be active. Let me make my joy, my peace, my abundance available to people in whatever way. You can be a surgeon, you can be a mother, but that line, once you're depending on that for your well-being, you're losing your wealth. You have a hole in your bank account and it's draining out.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what I was thinking. What will happen if she loses her job? I don't know the answer. And what you're saying regarding her, of course, but what you're saying, I think is very important to notice the difference. So we can do the same job. We can have high position. We can do a lot of work, but it depends on where do we do it from and
That's,
how much dependent we are on it.
that's right.
And yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
And I think, you know, you're talking about we're becoming from poor to wealth. We're moving towards wealth is by recognizing each one of us fullness. And I had a vision yesterday of a society of everybody being, you know, full with himself. And I was asking, oh, that's interesting. What will be the relationship between wealthy people? What would be their, first of all, I think, according, regarding what he said about the next period of time, which will be very chaotic for people, I think maybe starting to realize your own wealth, like you said, and your fullness will really help people go through that period of time easier.
That's right.
Definitely. That's what I said. We need to, you know, more and more people start to understand that. Keep
This,
working. We're in
yeah,
a regular world, keep working, money system works, everything, we keep working, but we need to change point of view of our
yeah.
work.
We need to change the energy with which we're doing what we do because people can be in a position of charity, philanthropy, but if they're tired and easily annoyed, irritated, this is not a kind of wealth which creates the abundance we want for tomorrow, for a new era. So all of these things, AI included, are moving us towards that population which is working from completeness and fullness, having understood what is the real wealth. But you know, there's another aspect to this which I'd like to bring up too.
If I can, before you bring, I just want to point out, because first of all, like you said, first of all is if you're losing your energy, if you're tired, that's the first sign. But I think another sign would be to ask yourself, what would happen if I lose the job? Because some people work and it gives them energy and they're full and it's fine, but they're still dependent. There's they're depending and it's feeling them. It's fulfilling them. And there I think needs to be another checkup point.
That's right. And it is essentially a spiritual study because you have to replace that externalized identity. I'm the CEO, or even I'm the mother. And then what happens when the kids grow up and leave the home? Something has to replace that identity because we need an identity. It's just there needs to be pure pride. That's the opposite of ego. And the pure pride comes from a whole like relationship with my own internal innate value as a divine being, child of the divine. This is what spirituality is all about. It's not a luxury. It's not just to be calm. I really need to get to know that extremely precious aspect of the human worth. But one other thing I wanted to bring in was just how, while we have been out of touch with our own spiritual and eternal value, and I was that. I mean, I had no concept of spirituality in my life, and I rejected the whole idea of God and spirituality. I was actually into politics a lot. and getting more and more frustrated, because even then, 40 years ago, I was beginning to feel politics really couldn't help. But because we've been so distant from this experience of the peace and the love that I am, and I can bring that to everyone instead of wait to get it from everyone, then it's like a survival mechanism to use all these external things for some sense of myself. We need some sense of ourselves. And this is where society has emphasized so much roles. But as it's now more and more fashionable to understand, I'm not the role. I am the soul playing the role, which is just another way of saying I'm not the body. I'm the intelligent, thinking, feeling entity that's using this body to express myself. The deficit, the poverty. I could have written a book on it. I was such an angry person by my 20s, 25, 30, and I was, because I didn't feel I had anything which was giving me worth. And so that's a cause of depression, right there. Very interesting definition for depression. It is the mourning of the loss of your identity, your true identity. I lived that for about 5 years because I just saw I had everything. I was living in Paris. I had a walk-in clothes closet with shoes lined all over. I had hobbies. I had a fabulous job. I had a good salary. I had restaurants, fashion, everything. And I was not happy. It took me 10 years to admit that. But that's the depression I entered, and I didn't come out of until I could begin to touch an incredibly valuable thing inside me. And that started the process of accumulating real wealth instead of just more and more debt.
I see a lot of people when, they are worn out or something and they stop. Sometimes they have, like you said, a depression period. And then they switch to another. They think, okay, so this is not what I need to do, and I need to do something else. And they go and do something else.
That's right.
And I think what you're saying, and it's very important, is we can, we can do that or this, and as much as we do it more accurately, of course, the energy would be better. But what is more important is to know yourself and the big and the higher self, but yourself and you are you wherever you go. So you can be a teacher and you can be, like you said, a mother, and you can be some kind of other profession. It doesn't matter. You can be a clerk. If you bring yourself into that place, you're higher, and you remember who's the one in front of you, the people that stand around you, that changes, that helps me always bring my values, bring my, everything that I believe in towards our conversation, towards everywhere. And the minute you are living with yourself all the time, so it's not always about changing the job. It wouldn't solve anything if you cannot be yourself. There are jobs that help you be yourself more easily. That's true. But you still, the path we're talking about is reconnecting to your real true self.
Yes, so it's another popular expression now. It's become popular. We are not human doings. We are human beings. And we're not against doing. Get out there, get an education, develop all your potential. But this balance, no, it's the being that's doing, and make sure that the being is plugged in, and there's the love and the peace and the joy that makes whatever you do very important contribution now, because we're in the night. There's a lack of this light, the light of love and peace. So anybody generating that, and it's a study. You have to put time into it, like you've broken your arm, you got to fix it. The soul has been broken. the karmic accounts of souls are in deficit. It needs time, it needs attention, but it's very rewarding.
We'll have to end the program now, but I think it's very important what you said now. I know that people who are listening to this program are probably on a spiritual path, but I still want to say, because people sometimes are afraid because they are feeling that I can't be on a spiritual path because I don't feel, I don't see, I don't hear, I can't get in touch. Somebody, they talk about it, I respect it, but I can't get in touch. And what you're saying now, and I also felt it while I was practicing, it's a practice. It's a simple practice. Takes time, but it's a practice. And the more you do it, the easier it is to get. There is a way to do that. It's not where we can do it or we cannot. It's just a matter of practice.
And also, we have to do it.
We
have to do it. That's the light which will move us out of this night and back into the day. We take a few minutes.
Yeah.
So it's not selfish to give time and learn or remember how to step out of your programmed, conditioned relationship with yourself and experiment with another part of you. She's in there. The pure being made of divine light, sparkling like a diamond, somewhat at the level where you place your mind. Just have that thought. Feed that thought to the mind and see it. And open yourself to the feelings. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.